Welcome back to the next tutorial. In this tutorial, we're actually going to start to build our castle. We're going to make a entryway. We're going to start making the castle walls that go around our castle. And maybe we'll do a little bit more if time permits. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We're going to start by making the entryway. The entryway is kind of the most hardest part. We're going to try to create an entryway that, kind of like our typical castle door. With a drawbridge of some sort. What we're going to do is we're going to click on a new shape, and we're just going to add a cube. So we're going to add a 1x1 cube, and go ahead and click on build. Now you can see that the cube gets kind of placed in the center of your screen, but if you look at the position of it using the inspector window, it's really underneath my terrain. So again, my terrain is 5 units high. So I'm going to make the y value 5, and the x and y values, as long as they're whole numbers, we can move it pretty easily. So I'm just going to delete the decimal values, and now go ahead and click on build, and again, get rid of your values here. Just make it 5 units high, 5 units high, and get rid of all the decimal values. Now you should be able to see your cube. So my cube, as you can see, I have 2 of them. I'll check out what I'm. You can see my cube is like way over there. Now I'm just going to move it to the front of my castle, this hopefully being the front of my castle. You can go ahead and click the move tool as long as your cube is selected. Click on the move tool and move it all the way to the front of your castle. Now again, if you have all whole numbers, you want to hold control while you're moving the cube. This will snap it onto the grid, and if you snap everything to nice whole numbers, you'll realize that the cube lands perfectly on one of the squares in the plane. Now, I believe this is again 80 units across. If I want to make my my entryway, let's say 10 units in width, we can start doing that. So I'm going to click on the face tool and click on the top face. I'm going to try to extend it up. I want to make my let's make my my entryway 10 units tall. So I'm going to do this by again holding the control button and extending by holding the control button up 9 units. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So hopefully I did that correctly. Yep, I counted 9. Okay. Now, Mr. Wynn, didn't you say you want to make it 10 units high? I do. But as you can see, if I try to extend this one, it's going to click on the entire face. And I don't want to extend the entire face. I just want to extend the top. So how do I do that? Well, I made my pillar 9 units high, but I want to make it 10 units high, but this time I want to extrude. So I'm going to hold the control and shift button and extrude it 1 square. Now, the reason why I extruded it is because it actually creates a separate face. So you can see that these 9 squares can be extended together, but this 1 square can now be extended individually, and that's what I wanted to do. I want to individually extrude or extend this 1 square. Now, again, I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to hold shift and control and extrude this, I don't know, let's say 6 units in width. So that's 4, 5, 6. I want to make my entryway 6 units in width. Now I want to, again, if you kind of go down and look at the face that I'm allowed to select, I'm allowed to select this entire face because I extruded it as one object. But I want to extrude it 1 more square to the right so that I can extrude individually another face. So I'm going to hold shift and control and extrude it 1 more. Again, why? Because I want to create 1 square that I can extrude or extend or extrude all the way down. So in this case, I'm going to extrude. I'm going to click on this face, hold shift and control, and extrude it all the way down. Now I got it perfectly, but if you didn't get it perfectly, again, you can just hold shift and control and extrude. Now I have an entryway for my castle. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how I'm going to build the rest of this thing. I'm going to build basically 4 walls that go all the way around everything. So I want to basically push this 2 faces all the way to the corner of my castle. So how do I do that? Well, again, it's just a matter of extruding. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on this. Well, you can see that there are 2 separate faces. But if you want to make it as if it were one face, you just hold Shift, and now you click. You now have selected the top and the bottom. And again, I'm going to use the blue axes. I'm going to hold Control, and I'm just going to extend all the way till 1 square off. Why again do I extrude only to have it or extend it so that there's 1 square off? Because again, I don't want to extend this entire wall. I only want to extend the last section of the wall. So I'm going to now extrude this last thing 1 more square by holding Control and Shift, and now I can be able to collect on this face. Now I'm going to collect on this face and on this face by holding the Shift button. And now I'm going to again extrude it all the way to the end of this plane. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Hold Control and just go and extend. I'm sorry, not extend. Extrude. Hold Shift and Control, and extrude it all the way until there's 1 square left. Okay. Okay. I'm going to accelerate my camera over here. Again, this is one whole face. I don't want to extend that one whole face. I just want to extend this one last square. So I'm going to hold Shift and Control, extrude 1 more time. So now I have control over this face. I'm going to hold Shift to select this face and the top face. Again, I'm going to hold Shift and Control, and I'm going to extrude it all the way over here. Now I'm going to do it in 2 steps because I couldn't see it. Hold Shift and Control again, and extrude all the way over here. Actually, I already extruded, so I don't have to hold Extrude. I'll just undo that. Just hold Control now. Once you already extruded, just go and extend the extruded face all the way to 1 square off. It wouldn't matter, but I just want to make it one face. As you can see, I'm 1 square off. I'm gonna hold Control again. I'm not extruding. I'm just extending this wall all the way here. And now I want to extrude. I'm gonna hold Shift and Control, extrude it 1 square. I'm gonna try to control this one. Hold Shift to select this face and this face. Hold Control and Shift again, and extrude again. Now, I didn't do it in 1 shot. I can continue to work on it and extrude it more. And this time I'm just going to hold Control and extrude it all the way over here until I'm 1 square shy. I'm going to hold Shift and Control to extrude. And now select this face and this face. Hold, again, Shift and Control to extrude. And I can let go, hold Control again, and extrude it so that I hit the wall. Okay. Now I've created a castle with an entryway and 4 walls to my castle. At this time, I think it's a good opportunity to extend our walls. So obviously, if a character is walking on top of our castle wall, they don't have much room to actually stand on. It's like walking on tightrope. So let's go ahead and make our walls a little bit thicker. So maybe I should have done this before. I'm going to hold Control, hold Shift, hold Shift, hold Shift, hold Shift, hold Shift, and hold Shift. And basically, I'm going to extend the entire wall. I'm going to hold Control so that does it in whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make it 5 units thick. Okay? And you can do the same thing with this one and the top strip. Hold Control 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And do the same thing with this one. Hold Shift, the top and the bottom piece, and hold Shift 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like 5. So that looks like 6 actually. So I'm going to hold Control, make it 1 less, so it stays the same. And again, I'm going to extend this one as well. I'm just holding Control to extend the thickness of the wall. Hold Control so that's in nice whole numbers. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So now I have the 4 walls of my castle, and they're the correct thickness. so that my person can walk on. At this time, let's go ahead and make a parent object so that everything inside of castle is going to be attached to a castle object. I'm going to go to game object, create an empty. We're going to rename it, and let's call it castle. So this cube, okay, this entire cube, including the entryway, is just one cube, and this plane are all part of the castle. So I'm going to do is I'm going to drag plane onto castle and cube onto castle. And now the reason why I did this is that if I move the whole castle using the move tool and clicking on the object tool, and I can move the entire castle up and down together, and that includes anything else I attach to it. Now obviously I don't really want to move it, so I'm going to Control Z and move it back to where it was, but now everything is under castle. Okay, and that does it for this video in terms of making the walls and entryways to your castle and turning both of them into one castle object.